Sunday, September 7th. This is a quick walkthrough of a mini site in which Arnie built for us. Arnie's a teammate, and let's get to it. I'm not going to go too deep into the tech. It's really just a 5-minute demo overall. And that said, just one slide allowed. This is a pipeline that drives all the data to the APIs for the calendar event storage and processing functions to be used for display analytics and building out upcoming web pages, embedded calendar invite buttons for technologies like MailChimp or SendGrid or HubSpot. And then in addition, this bulk API in which we built is built into some of our GUIs, not covered here, that allow for transactional calendar invite sending to be done. There are core 7 APIs used to gather and pull data for the organizer. So in the previous series, you can go back in time and kind of take a peek on how we load data. We do it by a simple command, and then we build out this processing pipeline using AWS technology. Essentially, at the bottom, we're using 7 core APIs to drive this data out of the serverless tech stack for AWS, and take this particular mini site for the NFL and drive data to it as a data pump using a stock off-the-shelf calendar client like Google or Outlook. So that's a quick setup. So you can see down here, we're pumping data via APIs in which we've built using API Gateway by AWS, and then we build out this really gorgeous NFL season screen to display data. In particular, someone puts their email address in and they can click one-click calendar invites, and then we track that data on the back end. So in this previous screen here, we're using the same concept to build out our internal dashboards for the event organizer. So we're collecting all the data off the NFL games in the back-end system and viewing that data, that rich data here, using the same common tech stack. So dimensionally, it's a linear stack, if you will, using a messaging pipeline. So those are the two concepts that kind of get your head around out of the chute as we build out the tech. This tech is well documented into our GitHub. If you want a GitHub pull request, just send me one via GitHub, and we'll get you set up and off and running in about 1 hour. It takes to install the calendar invite server we built. You can see all the chapters and the verses here, how the tech works in particular. This is all several thousand hours of work along the way. So I'll put all this stuff away, and we'll get into the live, what we call hot demo. So I'm just going to go back up here, show you this mini site. This particular site, which Arnie built, again, he's using the APIs, and those APIs are well documented in GitHub. This is his mini site on how he built it. So he's using Vue.js and a bunch of, I would say, JSON arrays he's built along the way in code, and he has built this crazy machine called the schedule, the NFL schedule. So I won't get too specific around the math, don't have enough time. So we're just going to get into how it works from a navigation perspective. The key core concept is we send calendar invites and we track that data. That's an important kind of mission. The mission strictly is focused on sending calendar invites, getting on people's calendar, and then tracking the data. So let's just kind of run through at least week 1. Since it's September 7th, these are kind of time driven, obviously, since it's a calendar and a schedule for the NFL. So I'm just going to click a button over here. Some of these will get sent through, some won't, because we don't send duplicates. I'm just blindly clicking these buttons for all the games today. So these games will show up in Zach's box over here. You're seeing them show up. Again, I'm going through just a quick demo showing you that the calendar invite engine works. That's based on a critical API which we built. That API is, let's see here, won't get too far into these explainers, which I build over time. But here's the core API, which you just saw run. Is API number 1. We're taking the embedded calendar invite, which matches a UID to the email address. These originate on the fly each time. We call it the outbound processor. This outbound processor takes the UID for this particular event game for the NFL and matches it to an embedded email address, which you see here, and then we match those two together, and then on the fly reassemble the UID out of the Dynamo database. We assemble the iCal specifically in a high performance like way in a few microseconds, and then match those two together, and then we use AWS raw SES, Simple Email Service, to actually build all this on the fly. It gets sent out, which I just showed you in Zach's calendar, and then we track that data because we request a participant action. So this is part of the core spec for calendar invites. We figured it out, and it's actually built into our pipelines, part of our intellectual property. When someone basically clicks yes, no, or maybe, we collect that data, and because we're requesting it out of the client, it forces that data back to an API gateway, and we're gathering all this really cool calendar invite data. So that said, back to the demo part, sticking to the script, you'll see these calendar invites came into Zach over here. So Zach has these on his calendar now. He can say yes, no, or maybe, and then we can track that telemetry data back and then make decisions on it for possibly adding game information to the calendar invites themselves, or we can inject data into these message bodies by sending calendar invite updates. And we do that using basically the stock calendar over here, because Mandy's the organizer and she can go into any of these here for the 7th, by example. I won't use Green Bay because I've used it before. Let's go to somebody I haven't used here. Okay, that one looks cool. That is, make sure it's for today. I'm going to go ahead and just change it a bit. I'm going to just grab some data out of my notepad. I'm going to basically say, come by booth 983, get a $125 jersey for fun. Again, it's just a demo, and I will do some grammar correction there. Shame on me. I'm going to hit save. What you're going to see is this messaging pipeline that is up and running, that's working and talking to our API gateway here in the middle. It's always talking here to here and then pumping data based on the APIs, and then we're coordinating the action of anything yes or no, where we built essentially a listener here at the API gateway, and anybody that said yes or no downstream, like Zach to a game, he will get the new constructed calendar invite. So how would you know that? Well, right here you'll see that this one's been updated right here. Please stop by the booth 983. That's the end of the demo. I'm going to shut it down, and thanks for stopping by today for our ongoing series here for the NFL, and it should be a fun year. Thanks.